Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. This is the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show, and I'm again Charlie Butler. I wonder if one of these Sundays I won't be Charlie Butler.
I mean, I don't know.
Bobby will come on in his 90s voice, this is Bobby G at 103.1, Bobby was a famous rock
I
disc
never
jockey
sounded like that, Charlie. Never, ever.
Wait, you were a famous what?
Rock disc jockey.
Wow.
I think I still am a famous disc jockey, just not a rock jockey.
Well, you are still a famous disc jockey, but you were a famous rock disc jockey.
Melissa's too young to know anything about that.
Bobby was my producer way back, then we've been through other people, and then the job is just too lucrative for him to not to come
That
back.
checks out, yeah.
So,
Actually, he has a hard time keeping producers. He runs them off.
yeah. Jordan went.
The last one moved out of state.
Yeah, Leslie quit.
Leslie retired.
Yeah.
Jordan moved away from you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bobby's been the only one that stayed. So it started with I was interviewing an agent, and we were getting ready to, and Bobby was here. Bobby said, "I need to run and get something," and he came. She goes, "That's Bobby G." And just like that, I didn't know, Sorry, Bobby, but I wasn't.
That's all right.
But I said, "Well, it's Bobby Gates, the producer." No, that's Bobby G. And his rock name was Bobby G when he was on the rock station here.
I like it.
And and I've had that about 3 different times, where they've been impressed. I said, "Now he's just an old guy,
It's true.
Yeah, you're kind of like you're like the WKRP guys, now.
Yeah.
This,
I'm waiting on somebody to approach me and say, "That's Charlie B."
Do you
Fingers crossed. Just waiting for it to happen.
do you produce Charlie B's show?
Is that the Charlie Butler you sit with every week?
Do you remember hearing about Larry Lou Jack in Chicago? Big time.
No, name doesn't sound familiar.
Big time disc jockey in Chicago, probably 70s and 80s.
Okay.
He wrote a book and he talked about, he said you head up. He said you're in the small market, then maybe you go to Cleveland, and then you go to Chicago or New York, and he said, and then things sometimes after a few years don't go well. And before you know it, you're back in Mayfield, Kentucky.
You're in Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Bobby wanted to be. Bobby is program director. Oh, let's promote your station here.
No, I the morning co-host on 105.3, the My Morning Show with Bobby and Liberty.
I thought you were program director.
No, Liberty is.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want it. I don't want that job. It's too much responsibility.
Didn't you used to be a program director?
I used to be, yeah.
That's what I thought.
And then they let Liberty do it.
Okay. So I didn't mean to talk about you getting fired or anything.
No, that's fine. Trust me, I don't want that job back.
But anyway, you guys probably will be promoting this too. But I guess it's kind of your music. Heart going to be here in June.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Heart. Yeah, we play a lot of Heart music. Yep.
Yeah, I love Heart.
80s, 90s, and now is what we play.
Melissa got me tickets, so I'm ready. Do either one of you know who Heart is?
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
How old are you, Melissa?
Oh, wow, we're going there. Okay.
Well, I mean,
I
I'm
didn't
29. I'm just
Another woman.
You're 29?
no, I'm not.
She's going to ask you
That's what I say.
how old you are
She
too
could
now.
pass for 29, couldn't she?
She
Yeah.
could.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. No, I'm not 29, but that's what I say. So
Okay.
I'm just because whenever they'll say stuff about the, different music and stuff, I'm like, well, I was still born whenever Heart was around. I mean,
True.
yeah.
Are you 29, Melissa?
I'm not 29, Charlie.
Okay. All right. We got two very, very pretty women here who are not 29, Bobby. That's what we have. Okay.
We're just a couple days past 29.
Okay.
Yeah.
So enough of this foolishness, Bobby.
I'm waiting on you to move on.
Bobby, you get into
Talk
this
to our
stuff.
guests.
You get into this stuff all the time. I have to rein you in.
I apologize.
So of course, my co-host is over here. You've already heard her. The president of the Butler DeArmond Real Estate Network and president of the Charlie Butler team, Candace DeArmond.
Good morning, Charlie.
Good morning, Candace. I just have not had anything for 2 weeks now negative to say about you.
I know. You haven't picked on me at all.
I know.
Let's keep it that way.
You want to keep it that way?
Let's keep it that way.
Okay. Should I tell them your real age?
I think we know 29 in a handful of days.
Right. That's
29.
right, Melissa. Yes. Uh-huh.
And no, I better not go. I better not go where I was going. Well, I'm going to go there anyway. He'll never hear this.
Go there.
It's
Brace yourself.
I'm going to. I'm going to.
Candace has passed for her son's date before in a picture.
That was just in a picture.
In a picture.
Oh my gosh, Mason will burn this whole building down.
I figure Mason
he
will
would
never.
be so mad.
Mason will never listen to
Yeah,
this. So,
yeah. Well, no, it happened in an Uber recently. So
yeah.
that
Now, what was it in the Uber that happened?
I don't know. He said something.
They thought
and
you
then-
were his girlfriend, or
Yeah, and I was like, I'm his. That's my son. My son is 23, and he was like, oh God. Like, oh.
my life is over.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
And
You still got it, Candace.
Well, thanks. My son wanted me to get ran over by the Uber, whatever this was saying. Like,
and also with us, Melissa McIver.
Macisaak.
Guys, I knew I missed that.
No, you know what? That makes it better. My dad couldn't even spell it until a few years ago. So,
Really?
yeah, it's all good.
Melissa McIsaak. And Melissa, I know your dad is very fond of your children, not your grandchildren, your children. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids. I have 12, 9, and 7.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw your kids was in the mall. After my office is near the mall, just right across the street. So a
Okay.
lot of times to de-stress, I go over and walk.
Okay.
And your dad was at well, they've got the little animals that you can ride around. He was there, and he was fishing money out when I saw it. I said, Mark, are you going to ride these things or what? And he goes, no, I'm good for my grandkids. He said,
Oh, yeah. No, he spoils those babies so much. There's times where when my daughter was like 4 years old, he said that he would buy her an iPhone just so that she could FaceTime Papa anytime she wanted. And I was like, no, absolutely not.
So while this tough businessman does have a soft spot. Huh?
Well, you can ask anybody in his life. When I had my daughter, let me actually back up, because when I was 6 months pregnant, my dad was like, don't bring those kids around until they're 18. They're going to be, terrible. And here I am like, okay, that's kind of not what you want to hear from your dad when you're about to have your first kid. When I had my first kid, he legit, seriously or unseriously, I'm not quite sure, joked about stealing her from the hospital. And then from that day forward became the mushiest, gooeyest little grandpa ever. And so, my dad is regularly in a business suit.
Yeah.
And then you would see him come home and he would be on the ground playing Barbies with my daughters. And so it's just so funny because people are like, yeah, 12 years ago, his heart, he just got a little bit softer. So not a lot of it, but a little bit.
Not when he's looking at those numbers. It's not any softer.
Exactly.
He's still the same guy.
He resorts back.
Yeah. And Candace, you said when Melissa was back this week, you wanted to talk a little bit more about lasting order. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued by the whole everything that you were saying. So the organization part of it, and I know that you help people that are getting ready to sell their home. But what kinds of things, whenever you guys go in, do you do? Obviously, a lot of times whenever someone's selling their home, they're wanting to do it quickly. People don't usually plan as much as what would make things easier.
Sure.
So how do you guys handle a situation like that?
Well, having a real estate background, I know that time is of the essence. And so as much as we would love for agents to give us a 2 to 3 week heads up so that we can fit it in our calendar, we also will do whatever we can to fit you in. And so we had I think it's been about 2 weeks, we had an agent call us up and she said, this house is humongous. We need all this stuff out. I have handyman, painters, carpet, etc., and it's a domino effect, and we need you in there first to clear it. And so I have an amazing business manager named Amanda, and I tell her all the time that she excels at calendar Tetris. Like, she can just rearrange things. And then our organizers are so amazing. So they basically worked Thursday, Friday, and then came in on Saturday to work and get this lady all squared away. And so we know that with what you guys do with real estate, you cannot predict. And when these sellers want to sell, it's like, we got to get it on the market now. Yeah. And so we will do whatever we can to get you in there efficiently and get results for you. But we can come in and we can declutter, we can organize. One thing we really love to do for agents is to prep. And so me or my business manager would come in, and we would spend about an hour with this your client, mm-hmm. and we'd walk around the home. We'd take copious amounts of notes, and we'd say, okay, these are things that you need to declutter. These are things that you need to get out or put in storage. And then we would create a document that we would send to you to pass on to your client of what they need to do. They can either take this on themselves and declutter and get ready for listing photos, or they can hire Lasting Order to do that organization for them. But because we love agents, one thing we love to do is call you on the way to the client's house and say, Candace, you were at the listing appointment. Is there anything that you want us to put on that list? Yeah. Is it a ugly recliner? Is it this, a deer head? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What do you want out of this house? And I'll make sure that I include it, because ultimately we want to serve our clients, but we want to serve you too. And we want to help you get the desired outcome that you want. Mm-hmm. So we do that. We can pack them up. We can unpack them. We can help facilitate their move on moving day and do floor plans. We can do anything when it comes to moving. And I will say this, our organizers are between 27 and 67 years old. Mm-hmm. And so we are very good with the breakables and the collectibles and packing them up properly. But we try to preserve their strength. And so what we have done is we partner with a local moving company, and we get their big, burly, strong men to come in and move all the boxes and do that so that we preserve their strength. Okay. So that's one way that we love to work with agents and help you guys get ready for a listing so that those pictures just pop.
Yeah, it sounds great. I just did not realize that we had a company around here who did that. So now I'm very glad that I've met you today.
Yeah.
So Melissa, what about, I'm going to take it to a different level here and see.
I'm ready. Let's go.
You walk in, and a lady's lived there for several years. She's got cats.
Oh gosh. And
as Tim Mall would say, and I know you know Tim.
Yep.
The smell of money's in there. And so how do you handle the urine smell in a carpet? And
cigarette smell.
Cigarette smell. The walls. You know what cigarettes do to walls. So. And the smell. How do you handle that?
Well, I think you and I probably both learned a long time the art of breathing through our mouth. I think if you're in real estate, you have to.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
that people, there was a lot of terrible things that came with COVID, but the good thing was having to wear masks and sell real estate because you didn't have to smell everybody's funky smells when you went in their house.
True.
I
hadn't thought about that, but you're right.
Yeah. So I kind of miss those days, but you breathe out of your mouth, and we always try to go into homes and not be judgmental. That's the thing that we don't want to convey to people, is that we're judging them. We always try to come from a place of empathy, and we understand, and life is hard and it can get like this. And so if it's a house that's completely filthy, we have just trained our organizers how to breathe through their mouth. But here's a trick of the trade. Okay, Charlie? Mm-hmm. We have organizing bags for all of our organizers. It's got our secret stash of tons of goodies, especially a label maker, which makes our heart go pitter patter. But one of the things that really can help with smells is you put a little bit of, Vicks Vapor Rub right above your mouth, and you don't have to worry about the funky smells.
Well, I'm not just talking about us. Let's say when we go into a house, how do you handle that client wants to sell their house, and they're only going to get they're going to get an investor,
sure,
and they're going to get and we got one right now, one of the agents on our team, and she said the lady doesn't want to list her house, she's too embarrassed, and but she says she's heard your commercial how you'll buy it, or we have investors that buy them.
Okay.
And I said, well, yeah, but I've got to look at the house, and she doesn't want me to come in because and it's a large house, so it's probably the whole. Well, I mean, I could get into some horrible stories here, but
I'm sure you've seen it all.
Yeah, but anyway, so how what do they recommend at this? When your organizers, when they're in there.
So we would get everything out that they, especially we would find the root cause of what's causing the smell. We'd stop that. But then we would recommend getting the carpets and the flooring replaced. There's that kills paint. You can clean the ductwork.
Right.
And so that would be all things that we would recommend in order to stop the smell.
But you still got the cats, so.
She's still got the cats? Rehome them? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, maybe teach them how to go potty in one specific area. Probably.
Well, they teach them use a litter box, but no, I'm not going to go with that story. That's just too bad. There's another. There's one, but no, I'm not going to go there. It was really sad, but I mean, I'm just I'm curious when you see something like this, how I was just curious how you handled that, because
I mean, we have plenty of plastic gloves that we use when we're doing it, but we organize their space, and we try to take the things that are salvageable and give them a home and organize them, but we don't necessarily tell them this is what you need to do to your space to make it smell better.
Right.
Yeah.
But they've got, I mean, it's, I mean, if I went in there and they wanted to list it and they wanted to get top dollar.
Yeah. Well, then I'd be telling them new floor,
you gotta
paint,
get,
and
you gotta get
ductwork clean.
Yeah, exactly. And so what else? I know where I wanted to go.
Okay.
I'm more the investment side. You guys also, we haven't talked about this, you're into Airbnbs also.
We are, yeah.
I knew that your dad owned, like, here's some time ago, I knew he owned one or two, but he and I were talking last night. I was getting your number, in fact. And he told me, he said, that's the only thing I'm really interested in rentals right now. He said, I'll probably never buy just a regular rent house again after this. So why do you like Airbnb so much?
Well, I like Airbnbs because you can get 2 to 3 times a month more income-wise than you could if you just had a long-term rental. I like it because it provides jobs. We have a cleaner that comes in every few days, and so we get to provide work to a stay-at-home mom that really works around her schedule. So I love that. I love the different people that come through our space. I spend about 15 to 30 minutes a day on the app just talking to our guests and checking in, making sure that they're doing okay. If I know that they are coming in for a special occasion, like we had a guest a couple months ago who her daughter was giving birth at Deaconess, and so we have a letter board, and I said, congrats, happy baby month. They didn't know when baby was coming, but they were there in preparation. And so we try to celebrate different life events going on. But you get to hear different stories. Some people are coming to Evansville because of a surgery, or somebody's coming in for a month for work as a nurse. You just get to hear and meet so many different people. And that's been really, really fun. But one of my favorite things is making spaces beautiful. So that's probably like Candace, if you're a stager, going in and making a house a home, and those little details that say, like, we see you. Like, let's see, like our coffee station. I loved making our coffee station, because when I wake up in the morning, I want a cup of coffee and I want a funny, snarky little quote that gets my day going. And so, or switching out the bedding and the decor, and just making it nice for our guests.
So it's, I know in the tertiary markets, which is the small markets, Evansville was ranked number 1 here a while back as far as, but I think because of our healthcare system. So are you seeing very much in the traveling nurses?
We are. We're seeing traveling nurses, traveling doctors. I would even say, we are seeing a lot of people. We also have a lot of people, surprisingly enough, that come to the Ford Center for concerts. So one of the things that I've actually added to our Airbnb listings is with each of our locations, I will say how many minutes it is from the Ford Center because people come to events all the time there. So.
Yeah. Ford Center, the Victory,
Yep.
the Center, which they're all right there. They're not very far from each other.
Exactly. So. Yeah.
For those that weren't listening last week, okay, your dad, Mark Daly, who is a successful local businessman, Melissa is kicking him out. No. But no.
You know, he actually probably wants to retire sooner than I'll let him go. He's like, you probably have this in 3 years. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna start with 5, and if we feel good about it, I'll let you go sooner. But
yeah,
I'm not looking for him to go anytime soon.
But you know that if he sees a business that he likes, he's still going to want to.
Yeah, we're actively trying to buy a lot of businesses
Yeah.
right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know if you know this, Charlie, but there's 2.3 million businesses in America, small businesses that are owned by someone in the boomer generation, and 75% of those businesses do not have a succession plan. And so, my dad would be one of them until last year when I decided to move back to Indiana. He did not have a succession plan. And so the reason I have such a passion and moving forward with this is because these are businesses that are staples in community. They're trusted brands, loyal customers, real revenue, and I want to preserve people's life work.
Okay. That's really, it's noble. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And you can continue that. You can make money. You can provide a good service for the community,
Yep.
which this business had done for many years probably.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's great. So talk about the businesses you got now for those that weren't listening last week.
Sure. So we have Signs Now.
And let's talk a little bit about Signs Now because I think at least this being a real estate show, we do get all our signs from Signs Now, and
Thank you.
And we have for a long time, but anyway. So I know you got realtors. What are some of the best sources of business for you in Signs Now?
Yeah, so I would say one thing that we really excel at is doing car wraps.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually have found this quite humorous that we have so many people that want car wraps because I personally don't want anyone to be able to identify me when I drive. I only follow traffic laws that make sense to me, and I also park wherever I want at any given moment. And so I get that honestly from my dad. And so it used to drive my husband crazy because he'd be like, this isn't a parking spot. And I would tell him, if somebody wants me to move, I will gladly move. But until someone does, I'm going to park where I want to park. So all that to say, we do car wraps because people do want to be identified and do follow the traffic laws like a good law-abiding citizen. And I would say that we are one of the best in the area. And I say that after spending quite a bit of time in Signs Now and people coming to us and seeing the quality of our work. Our car wrappers are 3M certified, which means they went to a school, they learned how to do it. It was pretty strenuous. It was not hard to graduate from it. And so they are meticulous and detail oriented, and they won't stop until they get it right. If you're not happy, they will rip it all off and they'll start over again. And so they're phenomenal at that. But we do banners. We do tons of yard signs. I mean, we do a lot of window purse, so we can do it all.
Okay. And how can they get a hold of you for this?
Yeah, I don't have the Signs Now number memorized, unfortunately, but you can call us. You can Google Signs Now and look it up for us, or stop by at 700 North Weinbach, and you'll see us there.
Yes. And by not saying she doesn't have the number memorized made me think. This is brought to you by Bossy Title.
And I have their number memorized.
All right.
812-421-4000.
Well, hang on to that. I still got a little bit more till we get to the number.
Well, no.
But I've got Jeff Bossy's cell phone number here.
Don't you dare put his number on the air.
I don't think he'd like that.
I don't think he'd like that at all.
But anyway, the good folks at Bossy Title, always on top of things. We go there pretty well. For just about everything goes there. If we can direct it, it goes to Bossy Title.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things we can't direct, but if we can, we ask for Bossy Title because in case there's a problem, we know that they're going to be there to take care of it. So.
Can I just say this about good title companies is a lot of times people will give a lot of props to lenders getting it to the finish line or agents, but I've seen that it is so crucial to have a good title company because in the 11th hour, they can get a deal done that would be dead if somebody didn't know their stuff, and it sounds like Bossy does.
Bossy's very, very good. And they're as you heard me say last week, Melissa, as you know, deal that has no problems in it, any title company can do it.
Sure.
No big deal. But Bossy excels when there's problems. I mean, and they work on it till they figure it out. I mean, there's been a lot of times I'm figuring there is no way they can be making any money on this deal as much time as they've spent. And but it's they just I mean I'll give one example here is we had one getting ready to close, and they had and I don't want to stop in 3 minutes, okay? I can't remember. Okay, the lady had got sued by a contractor. Well, she'd won in court. Well, the guy was appealing. One of the local title companies says, "Well, we're not going to issue a title insurance policy until this is completely done," which could take years. And so, the only thing I called Jeff Bossy, and he goes, "I'll buy their search notes and just send it over here. I'll write over the top of that, and close it right away."
Wow.
So, but anyway, Candace, how can they reach Bossy Title?
They can call them at 812-421-4000. And
peace to you too, Bobby. Bobby over here, give me the peace sign.
You don't want to see when we're down to 1 minute.
No. Okay, guys, I'm gonna leave it to you. What do you guys want? You want anything in the last minute here, Candace? You want to talk about?
No, I think we've only got a minute left. So, if you need to reach me, you can reach me on my cell phone at 812-455-6338, or me or any of the other team members at 812-430-1708. I have a really hard time with our team phone number.
It sounds true.
Yeah, it is.
Melissa, won't you tell them real quick what businesses that you guys own?
Yeah, so we've got Signs Now, Advantage Print Solutions, Connor Lock, Ponda Cash, and Lasting Order Professional Organizing Services.
Okay. And to reach you for any of these businesses, because you are on top of all of them.
You want me to just give my cell phone number out like that?
I'm trying, but no, I know you're not going to. Go ahead.
No, I might. You can reach me. I still have a St. Louis number, so it's 618-722-1181.
Okay. And that wasn't bad. The one finger that time,
right,
not
I had to reel this other
not the other one you usually give me. Okay. So Charlie Butler, if Charlie Butler team, if we cannot sell your house, we'll buy it. We'll have you an offer within 48 hours. Remember, list with us because it is the market is really good right now. We're seeing homes go very quick, low days on the market, and so just you can reach me at 812-499-7758. So Bobby, how much time we got left?
Time to go.
Okay,
Wrap it up.
So Bobby is throwing us off the air. So it's his fault that we can't go on. So for Candace DeArmond, Melissa McIsaac, this is Charlie Butler. Have a great Sunday.
The following program is paid for by the Charlie Butler team. This program has been paid for by the Charlie Butler team. From the Kate Foppel Ford Studios, this is News Talk 1280 WGBF.